good?
Yep.
How's it going, guys? Marco Moreno here and Cristian Garcia from the Basics Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in Lisbon today. March... What day is today here?
Today's the 17th, I believe.
18th.
18th. I apologize.
Sorry, guys. I forgot the days are kind
It's been at home, you didn't even pay attention what they
You lose track, like, because there's nobody in the streets, so it looks like Sunday, you know, it throws you off, right? Isn't it throwing you off a little bit? So March 18 to 20 is our third day of the school temporary closing.
We miss you guys.
We miss you guys because nothing makes us happier than to be here. I think Jiu-Jitsu is a place where everybody feels like there is an outlet, right? Even myself, just coming to talk to you guys here is like I start already feeling better, you know, because when you go like to the restaurant, you go, and then
and it looks
sometimes,
lonely. Everywhere you go right now, it looks lonely.
It looks lonely, and you see that there's kind of like an energy of like people being like, you know, in a bad spot. And of course, there's some stressful times because, let's say, business, right, are being hurt. Last I heard, Governor of Virginia has issued is this a law or what? What is technically called a law? Of being like only 10 people
In the groups?
in a restaurant, right? Because I just went to Melt. We have Melt here like a few doors down, and they are closed. They only have like 4 takeout, or only 10 people allowed in the restaurant. Besides the
employees.
Staff, the employees. So 10
Man,
people.
so
So we went 4
We
of us.
were talking about yesterday. They had IHOP, and now I received a call this morning. They say they close it. Now it's only.
I hope it's close.
They only for.
But they can have 10 people there.
I think it's just for to goes.
So nobody goes in.
Solo deliveries.
Man, that breaks my heart because we like IHOP.
Like I hope.
Even though Gracie died, you know.
We modify it.
Huh?
Sometimes I get on the server's nerves because I change things. Marco's like, man, Cristian, you're being too rough on the servers. I changed all the stuff all the
Cristian,
time. If you go
it's a nightmare for servers.
After the rolls, we go there and
I
we
don't like going with him. He changed everything. So, you guys, today, so these times it's like, do you feel like Jiu-Jitsu kind of has prepared, like, because in Jiu-Jitsu, of course it's not the same, but we're putting bad spots, right? Somebody on top of you, holding you down.
feel claustrophobic. It's like,
Claustrophobic. Don't you feel claustrophobic at home? Right? Isn't this kind of like the same thing? But I see a lot of people outside, so I guess they're getting out of their houses, running, you know, doing activities. So I wonder if there is something positive. I think we should focus on the positive
I see
of the whole situation.
I saw on the news people in Italy, they come out of the balcony and they're all singing Black Sabbath. They all
Black Sabbath?
Yeah, they all singing.
That's kind of like a dark song for like.
I mean, somebody's like probably start singing it out loud, and they all start like you know.
Like the Iron Man, like Black Sabbath, that song.
Yeah.
So people is singing, right?
Yeah, and in order to like come out of the like some people get depressed, right?
Yeah.
For just being at home all day.
So they go on their windows and start just randomly singing.
I saw another one. He was like a personal training and the rooftop, and there's like the buildings. He make everybody on the buildings come out to the balcony, and they all start working out in him in the middle of the
workout. So he's the director.
He's like let's do jumping jacks, and
everybody's doing
around the
jumping
buildings. They're doing jumping jacks on the balcony.
That's cool. That is awesome. So they cannot even get out of their house in Italy. They have to stand because here we can still like go places.
Go to the store, if it's open.
Wow. So that's a positive thing, you know. In a way, people is being isolated, but it's coming together too, don't you think? Like for example, I went to my apartments building. In the first floor, there's a bunch of like water, paper. Somebody left paper towel, soap, detergent,
Outside.
another outside. Yeah, right there.
So
And it says a note. The note is saying, "Hey, you guys, feel free to take this. We're a community after all. Take whatever you need."
That's a good example of what do you call it? Not being greedy. Like some people, they go to the Walmart supermarkets and they try to like get all the medicine, get all the. Sometimes they don't even need it.
The toilet paper is a very strange phenomenon because what is the toilet? How is it gonna help you? The toilet paper.
Why are people getting like?
I would understand if it would have been like
medicine, right?
No, the virus will give you like diarrhea or something, you know.
But it's all like respiratory problems.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. People like trying to hoard the
toilet paper.
Toilet paper, man.
And the toilet paper, yes, is because luckily we have what I think, you know, if like worst case scenario, you can survive without toilet paper.
Oh yeah.
But you need water, you know, the essentials. Anyway, I don't think we're still in that scenario. But man, I think about the positive thing. I think maybe people, I heard somebody telling me that one family member has to stop smoking because the smokers have a high risk
They're scared
of
the weak lungs.
getting the weak lungs. So now, so maybe some people is finding this as like a wake up call.
And yeah, I was just looking into the Facebook feeds, and they say like the planet is kind of taking a break right now. But some places the pollution are like lowering down, like in China. Somebody say they came out to the window and they hear birds singing. Sometimes the birds not like, and the windows on the trees because of the pollution, the like the smoke of the cars and stuff.
So it's good to like there's a break. There's a break of
It's
like,
kind of like a break. They said there's places with deers coming out because there's not too many cars. There's places that like animals and stuff.
So maybe that's a positive thing, you know. Maybe that makes us create like conscious
About the environment.
about sometimes yes
Mother
what we
nature.
are doing, you know, what we're doing and how it's affecting Earth. Anyway, so anybody has a positive like let's say take on this whole situation? For me this is positive because I feel like I talk to people in class like that, but talking to a camera is different, you know.
Man, we feel lonely. I feel like I miss everybody here, you know, when I come to the classes and I see.
But the positive thing is that we're thinking when classes resume, we can keep having these live videos, right? Once a month, something like that. So you guys, Guillermo, how's the feed right now?
What's up, guys? Yeah, here. If you guys have any comments, I'll be reading them to Marco and Christian.
How many people are watching right now?
5.
5?
5 people.
Awesome.
You guys, that's all we need.
That's all we need.
One guy watching, and we're here for you.
We're here for you.
So cool, guys. We hope that you're watching your videos. We hope that you are practicing Jiu-Jitsu at home. We did the solo. Watch the video, the first video of Monday, with a bunch of solo demos. We did stretches and things that you can take, and also look online. You don't have, it doesn't have to be our way. That John Danaher has a free, I think online. Look it up on
Solo drills.
on Google, solo drills. You know, you take ideas. You go home. You don't have to have a big space. Just your tiny man.
I see.
Have a tiny living room.
I see some of
sometimes I do.
our students. They bought the max thing. Brandon. Somebody else got the little mats. Man, that's
good.
Awesome. That's awesome. Good
That's
move.
good, Brandon. You bought your mats, and he's practicing with his girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
So that's good, you guys.
John DeStefano says he misses you guys too.
I miss you, man.
John, how's it going, man? I hope everything is okay. How's the schools? Do they have a when are they gonna reopen? London County schools?
Did they have any now?
They closed it for a month, I think. They extended instead
But
of 2 weeks.
The first
now it's
time,
a month.
the
I
first
believe.
time was until like
2 weeks, March
2
20
weeks.
something. But
And
now
then
they extended it for a
it's
month.
extended now.
I believe so. Yes.
Oh, okay. So, man, hope you guys are doing good. Maybe this is time to take a conscious about your health. You know, about taking a break sometimes, and just overall connect more. Sometimes, you know, this like 9/11, right? People brought people together. You know, I mean, we don't want this to happen. It shouldn't be like something has to happen for us to
in order to let us
right. It
together.
shouldn't be like that, but this is you know, just a situation, and we just take the of course the lesson from them, right? Just like Jiu-Jitsu. Sometimes we practice Jiu-Jitsu so much that we kind of just the mind strain to see everything like that, right? So you guys, let's talk about today. We're gonna talk about different topics. If you have a suggestion of anything you want us to like cover regarding techniques, discussion, mindset, let us know. We'll be happy here to talk about anything, any questions, any ideas that you might have. For example, Friday, we're gonna have MMA discussion.
MMA.
We're just gonna talk about MMA on Friday, just what's going on, fights coming up, maybe all fights,
Are they still doing?
just MMA, huh?
They still.
I heard that
UFC?
Tony Ferguson and Khabib fight is still happening.
It's still happening.
That's what I heard. But I mean,
Man, that fight has been in the works for a long time.
It has to
It
happen.
has been canceled several times. I
about
don't know
4
if
times now. Yeah.
4 times. So if they cancel now, it's gonna be the 5th time.
I believe so. Yeah. The
So
fourth or
I guess they're still
fourth or
training
the
then.
fifth time.
They're still training. So good. Hopefully that happens. Everybody wants to watch that fight. Khabib versus Ferguson. We're gonna talk more about that
Friday.
on Friday. You guys, another thing I was gonna tell you was on Friday. Remember in class I was bugging you about voting for the best of London. London. Loudon. You're gonna see the results Friday.
It's gonna be on the
Newspaper.
so
Loudon Times Mirror. Pick a copy. I don't know if it's gonna be online, but we're gonna find out if we won. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. Cool. So Friday, a lot of people was asking me, what happened? What's the result? You know, because we all have everybody every day in class.
Hey, if you don't take your phone and vote, we're gonna choke you out. And I'm like, no, man. we're just joking.
I was just joking. So, thank you for your support, and we'll see what happens. Friday, Loudon Times Mirror, the results for Best of London. Let's see what happens. You guys, so we're gonna talk a little bit about taping your fingers. We had a question yesterday about how you tape your fingers because you do that a lot.
Yeah, my fingers sometimes get all messed up, like for like the grips or like they're like tweak a little weird, and sometimes they're like sore.
We're gonna talk about today specifically, maybe in the next classes, next days we're gonna talk about women power or master cycle. But today the idea was to talk more about combative techniques,
Combatives techniques, bad guys, indicators.
being a good
Being
bad
a
guy,
Good bad guy.
maybe most common mistakes, right? And any questions regarding combatives. But if you're watching and you have a question regarding like advanced, we can cover that too. So cool. Let's talk about this.
Ooh.
I think it's important, you guys, that we know a little bit our history.
Jiu-Jitsu.
You know, specifically the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu history. You know, because Jiu-Jitsu is like a very ancient martial art that, who knows, goes back to like China, India. Eventually, I think they can trace it back to the Japanese training for their samurai hand-to-hand combat.
When they lost
Style.
the sword, that's when they applied jiu-jitsu. Unarmed, I think they used to call it unarmed martial art.
So they were very good at designing techniques for breaking legs, for taking people down, for choking people out, with everything, right? Like using their entire body, like triangles, being on the bottom, being on top. So the Japanese were actually the ones who coined the term Jiu-Jitsu, that means the soft art,
The gentle.
the gentle art,
The gentle.
gentle art. So once the Japanese opened to the world in the 1800s, late 1800s, then many, well, first of all, we have to talk about Jigoro Kano.
Jigoro Kano is the one who brought the
Jigoro
to
Kano.
Japan.
Yes, okay. What happened is that they start. Do you remember the movie The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise.
Right. So that's a movie where they talk about the samurai being banned, like no weapons in the streets, you know, because Japan was becoming more a westernized country.
Westernized.
So they banned the samurai.
The sword.
No swords in the street.
No
They
weapons.
consider that being like old tradition, you know. So they're trying to modernize themselves. So the jiu-jitsu training became just kind of like,
More popular.
no, actually kind of outlaw, right?
Oh.
I guess there were jiu-jitsu schools, but they weren't organized, right? Like there were some schools that would do takedowns, other ones do leg locks, other ones will do like very like
Chokes.
chokes, but other will do like poking in the eye, you know, like things like that. Jigoro Kano came in the 1800s, and he put it together, a system, right? He grabbed from different jiu-jitsu schools. He was himself a jiu-jitsu practitioner, and then he pulled from different schools of jiu-jitsu, right? And he created his own program, right? And he called judo, right? And he organized it, a nice curriculum and a safe way to train, right? So this technique is too dirty, we cannot train safely that, you know, we train this, we take this out, no, we don't practice this, we focus on this, right? And create his judo, which became very popular, right? So much that I started teaching in schools, and right? So
And also become a Olympics.
that was later on. So Matsuo Maeda was a student from Kano, from the Kodokan. The Kodokan was the main place in Japan where the judo guys will get together and practice. They had many challenges too. All the jiu-jitsu schools challenged the Kodokan, but from the Kodokan they were the best judo practitioners. And Maeda, Mitsuo Maeda, black belt, left because the idea was to spread judo around the world. So Maeda came to the United States, right, and then went to Europe, right. But at one point Maeda split from Kano. He decided he do his own things, right. He even was doing like challenge matches, right. He will fight for prize money, for like against a wrestler, like that. In Spain, he was named Count Coma. Conde Coma. And then this guy eventually landed in Brazil, north of Brazil. And there he met Helio Gracie's dad, right? who was, I guess, a guy who had influence, and for some reason they became connected with Maeda. I think to help him getting established a Japanese community there in Brazil. There are a lot of Japanese in Brazil. Like, for example, do you Machida? You wouldn't know he's Brazilian, right?
His last name Machida. You don't know he's from Brazil.
Yeah, he
looks
Brazil.
Japanese.
Exactly.
And he's
the same Peru. There are a lot of Chinese and Japanese in Peru too. We had a president, Fujimori. Yes.
Guys, Caroline Williams says hi, Marco.
Caroline, how's it going? I hope everything is doing good.
Also, Nela Melendez says good message. Hi, everyone.
That's my mom. Hi, mom. My mom. My mom is watching. Thank you for that. You know what? My mom, she speaks little English, right? But she's always there, and the few words,
She's always supporting you.
The few words, she's great, it's amazing, great.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you, man, for supporting. So, Maeda, right? And then he started teaching Jiu-Jitsu to Carlos Gracie, the first Gracie who learned Jiu-Jitsu, right? There are like they were saying that maybe Maeda had another guy who taught Carlos, but anyway, somehow Carlos Gracie started learning Jiu-Jitsu, right? So much that then he started teaching Jiu-Jitsu, Carlos Gracie, you know. And Helio Gracie was the youngest brother. He was like with Carlos all the time, right? And he would watch his older brother teach the Jiu-Jitsu class, right? And by watching, he started learning, he started, you know, getting just involved, you know. Imagine you having your kid every day right here running around, and we're practicing. He's gonna pick up some things, you know. So watching, by the way, guys, it's almost like right now we're doing Helio Gracie style learning by watching the videos. That's what Helio Gracie did. But eventually he started practicing. Legend has it that he was weak, skinny, non-athletic child. Eventually, as he got teenager, he started getting a little more fit. He was a swimmer, actually, but a very small frame though. He wasn't like a muscular, like the Rock build, right? But fit, athletic. There is a story where he saved a guy from the sharks. You heard about that?
Nah, this is the first time I heard.
Yeah, Harrison tells the story, and it's also in Google. All this I'm saying. By the way, there is a nice biography about Helio Gracie in YouTube in the biography channel. Biography channel did I think an hour biography on Helio Gracie. Yes.
Guys, Tanner Harvey says, miss you guys so much.
What's going on, Tanner? See you here on Friday for the MMA talk, because Tanner knows a lot of MMA too. So Helio Gracie started like learning Jiu-Jitsu, right? And he was very smart, and sometimes the inability to actually do the techniques that require strength and athleticism,
he has to modify,
will force you, you know, tough situations sometimes force you to be creative and come up with solutions. So he did that, exactly that, right? He was tweaking things, the choke, right? And just kind of like seeing new ways to like set up things, and very, very smart, strategized to like the guard. It's not like he invented the guard, right? The guard existed, but he couldn't take anybody down. So we'll fight off his back, and then just from his back attack, right? With chokes, triangles, sweeps. So that, in that sense, he was an innovator. And eventually he took over the Jiu-Jitsu teaching business, and Carlos kind of like retired. Also, Helio was in charge of the challenge matches, you know, and Carlos was the manager who will set him up the promoter set him up with fights with other guys, and Helio did many fights, right? And he eventually became a legend in Brazil, and then made a name for himself as a fighter. So Helio Gracie then eventually retired. I think his most famous fight was with Kimura, Masahiko Kimura. He lost that fight, but you can see there how all Helio Gracie was all about survival.
And
right?
what's the fight that lasted like 3 hours?
Yes, he had another fight that lasted the longest fight in human recorded history. Lasted 3 hours. That was with a former student, Valdemar Santana. So this is an amazing story about Helio Gracie. But the thing with him is that his main, I guess, contribution to the martial arts was his stubbornness to keep Jiu-Jitsu, because like you were saying, judo became a sport, right? And what is a sport? A set of like with a game almost,
like with rules,
time, and just you cannot do this, but no, don't do that, right? While Helio Gracie in Brazil, right, was keeping it like these two guys fighting, no time limit, right? And if he goes to ground, stay on the ground, right? There's no like only 1 minute and then stand up. It's just two guys go, everything is allowed, and whoever walks out alive
that was the winner.
Is the winner.
And
that's why it lasted 3 hours, right?
You're more on the self-defense side too, right?
Yeah, like survival, just two guys fighting.
Who won that fight, guys? The 3-hour fight.
I think he lost too.
He lost?
Yes, I think
submission?
Eventually, I think he passed out of exhaustion, and I think people just invade the ring at one point. You know, I'm not sure about the story too much, but I don't think he won that fight. Anyway, for me, the most, I guess, the most impressive thing about the story of Helio Gracie was how, after his popularity started declining, right? We're talking already 60s, 50s, 60s. His last fight with Kimura was early 50s, right? And all the other arts start coming up. Taekwondo became popular, karate became popular, judo became popular, and these other martial arts, right? Bruce Lee became popular, right? These other martial arts start appealing to like, let's just practice, you know, and then have fun. But Helio Gracie was like, no, like this is like, Jiu-Jitsu is the most effective. Jiu-Jitsu is more effective, right? And he tried to challenge karate guys, right? And the karates were like, no, we don't want to challenge. We just want to have our business. So he kept like the, I guess the idea that it needed to be tested, right? You cannot just claim
that you're the best,
that you have the best style, right? It has to be proven, right? And he was challenging everybody, right?
Therefore, the Gracie challenge.
Yeah, but nobody wanted to take the challenges, right? So for whatever reason, there was no need to. They were making they had their students, like I said, karate, taekwondo became more popular, right? So at one point, Jiu-Jitsu was kind of like just reserved, I guess, for a few, you know, in Rio. I guess nearly not as popular as it is now, right? So it took Helio Gracie's sons to grow up. It took Julio Gracie to come to America, and the story of Julio Gracie is another, like,
you can talk all day.
We can talk all days, hours, and every Gracie I think has their own particular thing. Helson, we know Helson more because he's our direct teacher, you know. but it took Horion and Royce Gracie to step on the UFC 1 and create the no holds bars UFC 1, everything goes, and that's when Royce beat all his opponents, being the smallest of the whole competition. And that was an eye-opener, right? And finally then is when the vision of Helio Gracie came to be, right? Nice. At a point where nobody believed. Crazy old guy in Brazil, right? Who claimed he's creating a style, right? But he kept at it, you know? And he trained his kids. And his kids finally kind of validate what he was saying, right? And I was happy to, like, for him to, he was still alive to see Jiu-Jitsu start growing, and then came to America, and then opening Jiu-Jitsu all over the place, and see the fruit of his hard work kind of spreading to the world. So that was the story of Helio Gracie. Eventually he died, old age, and until the last day, you see the passion of him for Jiu-Jitsu, and how there was an interview where he's barely kind of, he was always trying to talk, but he was teaching the interviewer like the escape for the front choke, you know? We're talking about 93, 94, that's I think when he died, his last interview, right? Right before he died, he was still trying to teach Jiu-Jitsu, you know? So I wanted to maybe talk about, if you don't know the story of Helio Gracie, and then we got our Jiu-Jitsu from Helson, who was Helio Gracie's second oldest son, right? And Helson trained with his dad trained him since early age. Helson has the story that, because they always asking Helson, since when you start training Jiu-Jitsu? How old were you when you start training Jiu-Jitsu? And Helson's answer is always, since I was in my mom's belly. In my mom's belly, I was already learning Jiu-Jitsu. So, and then, of course, Helson has his network of schools. Every Gracie has their own organization. So Gracie has his network schools, Carlos Gracie Jr., right? Hickson has his schools, Hoyt has his schools, Helson has schools, and I got to meet Helson because I went to Fireworks, right? Tony Waldecker and Dan Wallen were teaching there, and they were associated with Helson because they were training with Scott Devine, who was one of the first Helson Gracie's black belts in Hawaii. Because Helson moved to Hawaii in the late 80s, started spreading Jiu-Jitsu there. Scott Devine learned from him. Our school has some people, the people who start learning Jiu-Jitsu before the UFC, right? Before the UFC, there were people recognizing the effectiveness.
Man, there's what's his name? Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill from Married with Children.
Married with Children.
Guys, real quick, Carolyn says, miss you. Way to keep the community involved.
Thank
And
you,
also,
Caroline. We miss you too.
Tanner says he was serious about it because he was right. Jiu-Jitsu is the most effective.
Yes, I mean, it was
No doubt.
No doubt. And then the kids, they start doing the challenges, you know. And nowadays, I mean, it's totally like Jiu-Jitsu has become, military has adopted Jiu-Jitsu. All MMA fighters, they had to learn Jiu-Jitsu, you know. Even wrestlers, they have wrestling, but they had to learn the Jiu-Jitsu tricks, you know, to be able to go.
They need to flip the situation, like when they get on top on somebody, or like they're on the bottom. If they good fighting on top, they need to learn some techniques to get on top.
Yes, and then now it's everybody knows Jiu-Jitsu, and then I learned it from Tony Waldecker, then Wallen at Fireworks, and then Helson will come and teach his seminars, and then I open here in Leesburg, and then Helson comes here and visit us, and he always tells stories about his daddy, right? I'm training with Helio Gracie, and I can tell you one little story that he always tells. Harrison tells about his dad, that he's been in Hawaii for like a few years, maybe 2-3 years. He hasn't seen his dad. He goes back to Brazil to see Helio Gracie, right? Helio Gracie opens the door, see Helson, and he goes, "Hey, Helson, how are you doing, my son? How are you doing? Nice to see you." And then he goes, "Did you bring your gi?" Right? "Did you bring your gi?" So, and then Helson, "Yes, I mean, we're training. Yeah, bring it. Let's train." Right away. After, right away. No losing time. How are you doing? After 3 years, let's go to the mats. You guys, I have here, man, I'm taking it out like I'm taking like a treasure, right? But it's not a treasure, it's the Helio Gracie book.
You want me to get closer or you can come closer?
So, and just tell me if they catch the...
That's pretty good.
This is the Helio Gracie book. It's the master text. It's called the... I haven't seen it in a long time. Gracie, just wanted to show you guys. Does it look good?
Yeah.
It's just a collection books. It has the great pictures, and it has yes, Helio Gracie's program, right? In nice pictures. This is Helio Gracie when he was younger, right? Oh, what is this? Certificate of authenticity. This verifies the authenticity of Grandmaster Helio Gracie's signature in this special edition Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Master Textbook, number 115 of 500. I got the number 115 book of 500. This is signed by his oldest son, Grandmaster Horian. And here's the sign of Helio Gracie signing my book, right? And then over the years I had other people signing the book. Henner, this is Helson, I think I had Hickson, this is Hickson, Hiron, right? So it's cool to have. It's just like nice book to have. It says to teach those who don't know, to remind those who do know, and to correct those who think they know. Helio Gracie. So Helio Gracie was very particular on repetition, details, and finding the leverage. Last time when Master Sauer was here, we were talking about Helio Gracie because he trained with him too. And he was saying how Helio told him Jiu-Jitsu is about finding the leverage, right? The story about the car.
Oh, the jack.
Yes. So Helio Gracie told him, ask Master Sauer, can you lift a car? If I'm strong, if it's a small car, if it's not too heavy, I might lift one, you know. And Helio Gracie said, I can lift any car if you give me a jack, right? So that was the philosophy of Jiu-Jitsu. So nice. Look, all these chapters. Standing, defense. You guys, Jiu-Jitsu is not just the ground. Standing. Weapons. Sometimes people don't know that Gracie Jiu-Jitsu has a weapon defense. And for the black belt test, at least with Master Helson, you have to test your weapon, gun, knife, and stick. Self-defense techniques developed by his dad, Helio Gracie. And then the mount, the guard, the side mount, the back mount. So that's Helio here. History of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Right, Kimura. So just cool techniques. This is the fight with Valdemar Santana. Coming to America. Helio Gracie. The UFC. It's a great story. I don't know how it hasn't made it to like a movie or something like that. You know, this is Helio Gracie, pictures of Helio Gracie young, teaching Jiu-Jitsu, teaching the gun technique, right? Teaching knife defense, teaching women, teaching kids.
Tanner says he loves that last line. I don't know which last line.
He was, I guess, the ones who don't know, the ones who know.
Oh, gotcha.
He was a very good teacher. He believed in the power of positive reinforcement, right? So all these are good techniques, you know, to review hip throws. Let me see if I can find techniques that we can play. Or maybe we can show the collar choke, right, Cristian?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we can teach the collar choke?
Collar choke, cross collar.
Cross collar choke is a very
That was his
signature,
Helio Gracie.
the signature move of Helio Gracie. Right? Maybe we can teach that. Man. See, knife defense. Knife defense here. Somebody comes from behind with a knife. There are techniques in Jiu-Jitsu. Rear bear hug. All these rear chokes from behind. And of course, it's been some techniques that has been even like the techniques have been adapted, a little modification, make it better, find a little tweak here and there, you know. So foot locks, you guys. Helio Gracie was doing foot locks too, right? Back mount, defense, headlock escapes. It's a nice book. I was looking for something that he wrote. Cannot find it. Anyway, let's teach the Gracie diet. Also talking about the Gracie diet is at the end of the book. Right here, all the groups and the combinations. Cool, you guys. Let's teach the collar choke, Cristian. What do you think?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right, you guys. So this book is not. I don't know if they are selling it at the Gracie University.
Probably Amazon.
Or maybe Amazon is. It's not. It's like a collection book, you know. So make sure take a look at it. Maybe buy one if you are a serious practitioner. Have your, as you meet different teachers, different Gracies, you start signing your book and you keep it as a nice, you know, treasure. Nice book to have.
That's a treasure.
15 minutes? Man, I've been trying. Gracie the entire time. You guys, let's talk about the cross collar choke from guard. From guard. So, cross collar choke basics. One hand in. Guys, now here is too narrow. More. Not even here. More. So when you feel the neck around the wrist, that's good. Okay, so you have one hand. Now look. See the little turn? Now here. You take the little turn and then you go and you shoot. Also deep. Now here. Around. Now look. You rotate your wrist. What I'm doing is this. I'm turning the wrist towards me, so facing my hands, and what it does is applies the blade on Cristian's neck. That is the trick. See? So that's what I'm talking about, the tweaks of Helio Gracie. Maybe in the past they used to be like
force muscle.
Yeah, like muscle, you know. But Helio Gracie went like, okay, what if we do this? We do this. What if we turn the wrist?
Yes.
You know, and the other detail, the closeness and opening the chest.
Ooh.
You understand? So it's not this. It's not here. It's here.
Guys, well, first, Jerry says if the book is one of 500, then it's a collector's item. Then, second of all, Tanner says he always shows a hard time getting that second hand when the opponent is defending.
Yes, I'll show you a little trick. Yeah, hold on 1 second. Check it out. One hand I call it deep. Now this get a little angle and go deeper. Now sometimes when this is deep, this doesn't have to be that deep. Okay, but ideally, as you learn first to feel, look, the turning of the wrist. If you cannot pull the guy, you come to him. Okay, and then you open the chest and breathe. Look, I'm opening my chest using my back muscles. That's the trick. Okay guys, now let's turn this way. So now what happened is, and there are many ways to say it. Let's say you have one hand.
Excuse me.
And this hand, don't bring it like, see, sometimes it's very relaxed. Like you have to be, when you apply chokes, you have to be like you're a doctor who's about to apply a vaccine shot.
Or bisturi.
Right? So when you want to apply a shot to somebody, what do you want the patient to be?
Relax.
Yes, you want him to trust you. Relax. Nothing's going to happen. Just relax. You see? This first hand has to be very like, it's okay. Nothing happens. But then this guy knows. So this defend the other hand. Okay. So this is the trick right here. You open your leg, you shrimp out, and you bring this knee here. Look. Right? So this is too much temptation for him. Right? He takes the bait. Look, he wants to do this. 1, 2, and pass. Right? So you are here, right? Look, is this bugging your neck? No, he doesn't see this as a threat. That's the thing. You have to make it feel like it's not even a threat.
Quick question, guys. Jared's asking if it matters if your left hand goes over or under the right hand.
If it goes over, it's also okay. But if it goes over, you have to go thumb in. So, let go for it. If you come under, palm up. Okay? Now if you go over, thumb inside. Okay? That's the other thing. Because it's uncomfortable to go palm up when you go over. See that? It's uncomfortable. So you need thumb in if you go over. The good thing to remember is the hand face the brother. See that? Mm-hmm. The hand face the brother. You're gonna go like this, look. The hand is now facing.
Giving the back to the brother.
Yeah, you cannot give the back to the brother. Have to face the brother here. Or if you come under here. So yes, answer is, can you go over? Yes, but thumb in. Or go here, look. And then loop it. Okay? But go back to this gear on this side, please. Going back to here, okay? So you open your leg and you give this nice bait. Look what he does. He push, freeze. You had the opening right there. Because he let go your hand, right? Because he doesn't feel any threat. As he steps his knee, I shoot here. I catch here. Sometimes pass the leg. Even here, he's done already. Even half guard, right? And this, when this hand was coming under, this also shoot, boom. See that? This was here. Go back. See, this was here, look. Very relaxed, right? Nice. Go, 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 go. Boom, shoot both, got it. Okay? Now pass your leg, pass. Already choked. It's too much. So that would be a good way, Tanner, for setting it up. setup things. So yes, you learn the choke first, the basic way, how does it feel on your wrist, right? The perfect way, the Helio Gracie choke, and then you set up little tricks, right? You learn little tricks of how to set it up. First learn it, how the application, based, and like that with every technique, right? And then you learn the setups to get the chokes. And please land your back. One thing for chokes, guys, you need to learn. Got it? Guillermo?
Yep.
When you start practicing with your partner, or get a dummy, or put a jacket into like a pillow or something at home, and start practicing these guys. See, my hand is like being kind of like, right? Like knife going, right? Because the choke sometimes you cannot go little, right? Little by little. You see it. So you have here, and you go, whop, it's already in. See that? I mean, sometimes you get a little not so deep, right? But this is a good exercise to practice your speed of the entry, right? The speed of the entry, right? And sometimes it gets caught in the gi, in the rash guard, right? Your finger, but it's good to practice some of these drills here.
And like you say early, sometimes don't squeeze too much, you lose your grip.
See, I missed it, but that's part of just practicing your hands, your memory to just go. See that? I felt that with Hiro. He go like how did he get into my neck, right? Let me give you another choke since we're on the top. I use this a lot, from knee on belly. Okay, speaking of Hiro, right? Like your knee on belly here, okay? Now, do you see my hand right here?
I only see this one.
Yes, because you are turning him a little bit. Look, you're blocking his vision, right? And then you're here, right? So you jump me on belly. You put this thumb here. He doesn't see what's happening here. What does he do? He pushes the knee, right? Choke comes, right? So it's very sneaky how it comes from this side. Already deep. I can go to mount or turn on your side, push my knee, turn on your side. I can finish here ear to ear, right? Or go to mount, finish from mount too. Cool. It's a very sneaky choke too. Okay, guys. Sometimes I got the thing is like, no, it's not speed so much. People ask me, how you so fast getting? It's not about speed. It's about they don't see it coming. When you don't see it coming and somebody's next to you, you see, man, you're so fast. You can, no, I came slow, but you didn't see it coming. See that? So that's the idea, you guys. Cool. So we're talking about Helio Gracie. We're talking about collar chokes, set up from the guard, and set up from knee on belly. Got it? Good idea. What else? You were gonna show, yesterday we had a question about taping the fingers.
Taping the fingers.
So Cristian always tapes his fingers. Jiu-Jitsu guys, especially with the gi, grabbing so much, fingers get a little bit like crooked from grabbing so much. So
like sometimes you holding the gi too much and then or maybe they get caught in the cloth and they get a little bang
right.
or something. Sometimes you get a little ill on the fingers.
May I say something first?
Mm-hmm.
My first recommendation would be don't rely on the jacket, right? Don't rely on just having this. Just even when you are with the gi, you can grab wrist, you can control triceps, you can control necks, right? Of course, chokes. So the first thing, so you don't have to get good grips,
Doug said you got him with that choke about 10 times.
I got a lot of people with that choke, so yes. So hopefully, that's the good thing is about you get caught, but then you know it's coming. The second time, it's not gonna work the same. But anyway, yes, it's good that because sometimes your fingers get caught in chokes and grips. So Cristian is gonna show us here how he tapes his fingers. So Cristian, what are you doing right now? Explain.
First of all, you can get finger tape from Amazon, eBay, or any jiu-jitsu store online. And I got this one. It's called Gold BJJ. If you can see it from like inside, you see it. It says Gold BJJ.
Yep.
Yeah, this one is really good. I like the length. So I like to start like whatever fingers like hurting or I feel like it's like very bad. Like when I grab and it hurts. That's the only reason I tape my fingers. So I like to start from the knuckle up. Sometimes I start here and I go here. The tape gets stuck right here on the other finger. So I like to start here.
You mean which knuckle? Here.
Mm-hmm.
This one.
Yeah.
This one up.
Up. So I like to go maybe 2 rounds like this. I go 1. Not too tight because then you're gonna cut your circulation right here. So I give a little. And then
How tight are you doing that?
How tight?
Like, I don't know, just enough to I can move my finger. So
Not so tight then.
Not so tight. So then after I do 2 rounds, I go like on the inside. See where the bend the finger is. If you do it on top, your finger's not gonna bend. So I go here, and then I go here, like on top. I go 1 more, and one more, and then I come inside again.
Inside meaning
I'm making an X right here. Like,
no, this is you call it that outside.
this is the outside. This is the inside. You see, I'm making an X right here. I'm making an X, and then I go here. Boom, boom, and then I cut it with my fingers, or you can use a scissor instead. Boom. Okay. So if you don't,
can you bend your finger right now? No
Yeah,
problem. And what
no
it
problem.
does is
it gets more support on the tendons.
support on the tendons.
So if you cannot get this tape and you find this one on the CVS
Athletic
pharmacy,
tape. Athletic tape.
just get athletic tape, get a scissor, start cutting, boom, 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 like on the size that you want it, right there. That's good. And then just peel it back, and you see, boom, like that. That's good. And then boom, 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 get a good tape, like there. Again. On the other side, let me show you again. Look, I start from the bottom up. Boom. I make it the X right here on inside the hand, and then I go around. Boom, boom, and then I make the other X right here. Boom, boom, boom. You see? Always making an X right here, so I get this one. See, I prefer this one. This one is like this perfect size. And right here, I make a fix couple times and make it loose, and there you go. Sometimes also you get like shoulder.
Hold on. Before we go over the shoulders, do you tape every single one of your fingers?
Just the ones that are like bothering me. Like usually it's this one and this one, or this one and this one.
You don't have to tape all your fingers.
You don't have to tape all your fingers. Yes, yeah. You only tape this one.
Now, do you tape fingers together sometimes?
Yes, when they're both together, like sometimes is both these 2 fingers that bother me. Yeah, I put them together. I just go by the after the knuckle right here. So I go like this, boom, 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 boom. I go 1 on top. Guys, probably like Egyptians, they used to do this a lot. I start looking like a mummy. Like a whole bunch of tape over my hands.
That's Ben. Ben type his feet.
He tied his entire feet, and then there you go. Cause see what I do. We grapple, so I like to have the fingers like this sometimes. So I go boom, like Marco was saying, boom.
So
boom,
your finger
boom.
doesn't get like
So the fingers doesn't get bent anyway.
stuck out.
So both fingers are like bent together. So that's good to like grapple. Okay.
You were gonna say about this?
I was gonna recommend KT tape is for athletes. Like sometimes you have a what you call it? like a sprint shoulder,
Yes.
sprint muscle. Sometimes
Or like a tennis elbow.
a tennis elbow. You put this tape.
I had the tennis elbow for
Yes.
like for months.
The same concept as the finger tape. This like also work on your muscles, like tennis elbow. You put it over your elbow, like from the forearm all the way to your tricep, and it kind of give you support, and you feel good. Like you can put like 2 tapes over
Works for
your
your
shoulder. I have a
legs
back
as well,
shoulder.
right? Works for your legs, like knees and stuff.
Yes, everything, ankles, feet, everything. So I have a back shoulder right here. Something I use it. I put it one here, and sometimes it comforts. It compensates for the like back shoulder, and yeah, that's it.
Cool. Thank you guys. Let's finish. How much time we have left?
None, but
None. It's already time.
yeah, it's time.
Man, time goes fast when we're having fun. Tomorrow, let's do a little flight simulation.
We were supposed to talk about the bad guy reminder for Combatives, because the other day somebody asked me, how can I help my partner being the bad guy?
Let's talk about being a bad guy first. So, being a bad guy in Combatives, first of all, it's not a real sparring for you mean the reflex development, right? Like the fight simulation.
Yeah.
So you just have to act like the bad guy the entire time. And the best way to do it is go slow first, and allow your partner to go through the motions. So let's say he's gonna do a takedown, don't resist. Just as long as he's doing good, boom, go. Also keep the keep the drill flowing, keep the movement going, right? Because that comes with you also knowing the techniques. If you want to be a good bad guy, you have to know the techniques very good.
What's the indicator?
Because you have to know what indicators to give. And you say, okay, but I'm not a good, I am not a good bad guy, I don't know my techniques. Well, start being bad guy more, and that will force you to kind of go through in your mind about what techniques are out there for you to give the indicator. So I feel like the students sometimes when I see they are getting ready for test is when I see them being good bad guys.
Good bad guys. Yeah.
If you're a good bad guy,
They do the high maker. They go like this.
I can tell that you know your combatives techniques.
Because you recognize the technique.
So the other way a good bad guy does is keep different positions, because sometimes the inner bad guys, they give the same
indicator over and over again.
Right. A good bad guy will give like a bunch, and he will tell the good guy, okay, lay down, okay, let's go, even stand up.
Yeah, in the videos, the brother say you allow as the bad guy to talk to your partner. Let me mount. Come here on my mount, like mount me, like so they can practice and hold
Cristian,
techniques.
Jerry said thank you for the fingertips.
Definitely, bro.
You're welcome, Jerry.
Noel
Let us know
said
if you have any questions.
Noel said Theo is sad that he can't play over here anymore.
Man,
So we were playing here earlier.
Theo, put your gi on. I want to see you here. Maybe we can practice. We are asking for a parent and a kid to come, and we do like how to play Jiu-Jitsu with your kid.
With your kid.
So Theo, don't worry. Maybe another day you come here and we play Jiu-Jitsu, okay? So being a bad guy will be very good for your training, and keep the motion, keep the moving going, and help your partner. And a good bad guy will be like, also if you are hesitating too long, like you're I don't know what it is, it's like strap and roll, right? Like
Tell them.
yeah, you tell them, right? So instead of like being too hard, too challenging, so you keep a nice intensity, okay? Not so hard, not so easy, and that depends of the partner too, right? If you feel like your partner is new, doesn't know the techniques very well, you lower the intensity. If he's a superstar, he's very good, you can go 20% more intensity, okay? Never to the point where it becomes actual sparring.
It's not a simulation anymore.
Of course, that wouldn't be fight simulation anymore. Cool? So it has to stay in between the realm of simulation. So we're gonna do a little fight simulation here with Cristian for you to guys know, to see both, to see the techniques being done well, and to see I'm gonna be the bad guy.
Okay.
And to see how a bad guy can create these different scenarios. There's gonna be times where I'm gonna bring the fight up to our feet. There's gonna be times where I'm going to tell him to let me pass, to let me go mount, and I'm gonna dig deep to the techniques. Sometimes techniques that usually people don't give in the fight simulation, like pulling guard,
Like the stages, stage 1 to
stage
5.
1, or Hell Escape 2.
Hello Escape 2.
You know, sometimes when your partner's doing Hell Escape 1, like the frame, you can tell him, hey, no frame, let's say you are late. So things like that, you know, and create the flow for your partner because it's almost like you want to help your partner more. Okay, so for him to have the best experience and to take the most of the fight simulation drill. Cool? I think for this one, Guillermo, you'll have to kind of follow us a little bit.
Yep.
Alright? So this is the part where a lot of people miss standing in base.
Back in the days, we used to make 25 push-ups.
I think
fireworks.
I think most people get very sloppy, or they forgot about getting up in base and they lose points. Right? Don't lose points for not standing up in base, you guys. So Cristian, I'm gonna be your bad guy. We're gonna flow for 4 minutes. Guillermo,
Go ahead.
calculate.
Yep.
Okay, so this is Combatives freestyle fight simulation. Let me turn. We go to mount. Right there, when my partner was in Americana, go for it, Cristian, please. Sometimes you can do a little bit of like test, right? A little test for your partner. Now go, be ready to tap fast, okay? Because you're being the one getting submitted, so make sure you tap to your neck. We can say cooperative roll. Cooperative roll. Yes. This way. Cool. So now we're on the guard. See that? We keep creating. See, I went to mount. see, let's go back up to your feet. To your feet. So we keep it moving, guys. Keep it moving, keep it moving. Let's go back up.
All right, guys.
That's it. Cool. So that's a nice way to flow through the fight scene. That's a nice way. I hope you can see as a bad guy how I try to give as many, the entire time we're flowing, right? And give my partner the best experience for him to sharpen his Gracie Combatives technique. So we talk about how to be bad guy, we talk about Helio Gracie's life, we talk about cool chokes, we talk about taping your fingers today. Tomorrow I have a special guest. I'm gonna have a friend of mine who's gonna talk about mindfulness and how to keep yourself, I guess, calm in these times of uncertainty. So she's amazing. She helps me a lot with like meditation stuff and to keep yourself like
Breathing.
She knows a lot about breathing, and we might have she might do a meditation with me and with all of you, so it's gonna be kind of interactive. We can do the meditation together.
You can do it at home too.
Yes, so at home, be ready. We're gonna talk about, but she's also open to questions. So she's gonna be tomorrow here at 6. Her name is Binaya. So hopefully you guys can tune in with us, and as always, watch your videos, stay positive, right? We talk about staying positive, finding the positive things. You guys,
Turn the negative into positive.
yeah, I feel like sometimes we have the power to interpret reality, right? Like the glass full or the glass empty, right? It's just as simple as that, right? Do you want to choose to look at the glass full, or do you want to see the glass half empty, right? You create the perspective of how you want to look at things, right? Of course, there's people who ask like, but who put the glass there? It's a different conversation, right?
Guys, John says the emphasis on being a good bad guy and a good partner is one of the reasons why I keep training at the basics.
Yes, you guys, because we talked about yesterday, John, about how it cannot be war all the time, and this is perfect because we're moving. You get a little workout, a little breathing, right? At the same time, I didn't feel like my arm was hyperextended or I get choked more.
I take care of Marco. I put a minimal pressure when I do a technique.
Yes, and me, I'm safe because I know you're not gonna do it, right? And I'm safe to tap. So I guess when you have still not master your ego, because what makes you not tap? Your ego, you don't want to tap, right? But because you are the bad guy and you're supposed to tap, you just tap and you don't have that in your head, you know?
I'm gonna tap.
So yeah, boom, because I'm giving it to you, right? So I'm getting used to tap. When it comes time to do the actual sparring, you have no problem tapping because we already been doing that in the combatives. Thank you guys.
You're getting prepared for the losing time when it isn't like mentally. You tap so much, you lose so much that when it's like you go to a tournament or you fighting here against somebody advanced and you tap, it's not a bad thing.
You learn that it's just part of the game. It's almost tapping. It's like getting a score against you. Like if you play soccer, somebody eventually is gonna score a goal on you, or basketball, and somebody's gonna beat your team too. Yeah. Right? When you spar, eventually somebody's gonna catch you. And it's just part of the game. Of course, losing sometimes doesn't
look pretty.
Doesn't feel good, you know. But if you see about like it's just part of learning, it's great. Guillermo still hasn't learned how to. He still take it too personal, you know, Guillermo. But you have to just.
No, I tap.
You tap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes.
You guys, speaking of competition, I was talking about. What's the difference, since we're talking about Helio Gracie self-defense, how competition jiu-jitsu changes things in terms of your training, how to approach jiu-jitsu versus just sparring. Maybe another day.
Another day.
Cool.
Yeah, make question, guys. After we finish the live video, you can still send questions to the page, and we will answer you next time.
And we're gonna make this live Facebook video available in our YouTube channel, so subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Basics Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Virginia. Thank you guys, have an amazing day. See you tomorrow at 6 p.m.